crunch, bring it back, single leg sweep. Let me teach you how to wrestle. Okay, let me teach you how to wrestle.
And welcome back to Wrestling Mindset. We're here with the champ, Vito. Great to see you. And, obviously difficult, everything, the circumstances being what they are, and seeing, very, very nice and heartfelt message to the, to the wrestling world yesterday about not competing. I guess just talk about some more of your thoughts. I'd love to hear you elaborate more on the decision to not compete and how that's best for your long-term success.
Yeah, like I said in the video, it wasn't a decision that I made lightly. Obviously, like, who in their right mind would want to not compete? Obviously, with such a golden opportunity right in front of them, right? It's every kid's dream to go and compete at the Olympics. It's a dream of mine to win the Olympics. So to have a bye in the semis as well, it was it was like a little golden ticket. I think that's why I held on to it for so long. Because, I had doubts in my ability to wrestle at trials immediately after NCAAs, right? But at the same time, I talked to some good people and ultimately, like, I was very, emotionally drained from the tournament, right? So I wasn't in the right mindset to make that decision. I wasn't in the right headspace to make those calls, right? So what I did was I took a week off, then I came back and I locked into my training and got prepared the same way I always do. And got right back on the horse and was doing well. My descent was coming down pretty good. I was, waking up less than 10 over. And then, right around where I would have liked to be, but my injuries, I injured one of my vertebrae this year during the season, like early, and it's been just a persistent, injury. The doctors say that it's not surgical. I don't need surgery, but I do need 3 months of not hitting my head against something, which is just impossible in wrestling, right? So, and everyone saw me try to do that at EIWAs, and it's just not good. You can't wrestle like that. So I felt a good string of recovery and after EIWAs, and I think that's what gave me a little momentum to go into NCAAs and compete so well there. But ultimately, I think I kind of used it up on NCAAs, and I started to feel better after NCAAs. But as soon as I started to pick my training back up and return to it, I started to feel those injuries come back. As well as I injured my knee in my match with Crookham at EIWAs. So that has also been a little lingering as well. And yeah, so the further I descended down into weight, the more those injuries were kind of getting to me. I don't think it was necessarily, I think I could have made weight, not easily, but I definitely could have made weight. No problem. Not a doubt in my mind that I wouldn't have made weight. But with my injuries, it just didn't, it didn't make sense at the time, right? Ultimately, like, what's the goal? The goal is to, win the Olympics, to, have the U.S. send the best guy that they can, so that, for myself, I want to win, and then for, as a country, I want us to win as well. It came to me that just wasn't me this year, right? Very unfortunate set of circumstances, but ultimately, it's difficult. It's difficult to look at the facts and be like, all right, well, everything is telling me that, I shouldn't wrestle. But then there's that, like, warrior's pride, just kind of keeping you in the fight. I've never taken off from a tournament from being injured. So I didn't exactly know how hurt was hurt enough to not wrestle, So I just tried and I kept at it. And then eventually, the other day in the morning practice, I hurt, got hurt again and during practice. And then like I couldn't wrestle the rest of practice. And it was, 10 or 9 days out from the tournament. And I'm just like, well, this probably isn't gonna work out. So I had to talk with my coaches, and ultimately we came to the decision that this was just reality. So yeah, like I said, tough call. Definitely not what I liked to have seen, but ultimately, I've been competing kind of on for a little over 2 years now, just going into the freestyle season, right into the NCAA cycle, right into freestyle season, right into the NCAA cycle. And then eventually, my, it just caught up to me. So, this is my body's way of telling me that I need a break, and it's not really a choice. And, it wouldn't be a good idea to not listen to my body, right? I do it all the time. I listen to my body. If I need a recovery day, I take a recovery day. If I need to train a little harder, then I train a little harder. But my body's telling me I need to take a while off, and I need to take a break. And there's plenty of work that I can do to improve even without wrestling. So there's areas to improve, obviously, and then it's easy to hang on to the things that we've lost, but it's equally as important to count the things that we have. So,
Right. And of course, hindsight's 2020, and anyone could play Monday night quarterback. But do you think back to the decision to wrestle this season after, because it's the not only the physical grind, like you said, but the mental and emotional grind, and you are a guy that puts in his time on his mindset. You're a thorough man. You're crossing your T's, you're dotting your I's, you're doing everything you can. But it's like, okay, last year OW at the NCAAs, and dominating, and then world champion. It's like, what could have you done possibly better than that? So it's, I'm sure you could think of little technical points, but as far as now the bullseye's on your back, college is incredibly tough. NCAAs, doesn't matter if you're a world champ, there's good guys out there, but not only the physical drain, but the mental and emotional drain of, now all the pressure and all the expectations. Like, it's always expected a major attack, something like that, right? Even against the best in the country, who were some of the best in the world. What do you think about the decision to compete this year? Does it feel like that was the best? Or, I'm sure a lot of people wonder about that.
The time is now to take your mindset to the next level with Wrestling Mindset. Make sure you go to our website, wrestlingmindset.com, and sign up for your free trial session today. Don't wait any longer. You want the mental edge right now. When you sign up for the free trial session, you're also going to get a copy of our free ebook, Building the Predator Mindset. This book has helped thousands of people build confidence, relax under pressure, get motivated, and build mental toughness in wrestling, school, and life. Make sure you sign up for your free trial session today.
It's definitely difficult to, look back and be like, right, oh, if I done this, something this would happen, right? So ultimately, I don't regret my decision to wrestle this year at all. I wish I hadn't gotten hurt, obviously, but whether that happened in, the first match of the season, or it happened in practice training from freestyle, so there's no preventative measure, right? There's nothing I could have done or changed. It's just the way it goes sometimes. So, I don't have any regrets on how this year went. Ultimately, it was a bad hand. And I think I did the best that I could with it. I'm happy to say that, especially with how, trials is, and then I would have had to go and qualified the weight at last chance, and then the actual Olympic Games, even if when I initially got hurt, I said, all right, I'm going to take the time I'm going to quit my folk style season and just focus on getting healthy for the Olympics. I still don't know if I would have, done that. So, that it was an option. But the recovery period, if I actually had, done 100%, would have left me with weeks to train, like a week or two to train before the trials. So it's like, none of them were good options. So I think I picked a decent one. My last NCAAs gave it everything I had. I'm happy with the outcome. Could I have done better? Yes. But it was definitely, something that I can be proud of. And yeah, it just didn't work out this year. So,
And it's a tough call because there's people who've like, yes, they have wrestled the whole NCAA season, then gone on to win worlds. I mean, that was you. You wrestled the NCAA season last year, go on to be a world champ, right? I guess the difficult thing, and I think I speak on behalf of the wrestling world, saying the 6 weight classes is ridiculous. Come on. Like everyone's packed into such a small, you can only go, it's going either 57 or up to 65. It's a big split, right? But you being like, you take a guy like Snyder, you take a guy like Gable Steveson, it's like they're wrestling heavyweight, so they don't have to come down after the season. Even when Burroughs did it, Burroughs was what, 165, wrestled 163, 74 kilos. And then I think John Smith was another guy, but it's like 136, 132. They're wrestling right about the same thing, whereas you're coming down a significant amount. Does that, like, were you thinking about that, or I guess doesn't really make a difference?
Initially we had given that a lot of consideration. I was planning on making my descent through the season, and weighing in at NCAs like 135, 136, and already descending for trials. And then I got hurt, and kind of, it was take it day by day and see where I was at. After EIWAs, or previous to EIWAs, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to wrestle. I didn't know if I was going to be able to wrestle at all. And then I wrestled the EIWAs, and I got a little more confidence. My injuries are actually much more controllable than I thought. Because there were times. I mean, I wrestled matches this year where after the match I lost complete control of my arm for the entirety of the day.
Wow.
So it was like I didn't know, there was nothing taken for granted. Ultimately, I think we did the best we could have. And yeah, I think even, yes, I will say the descent is not pleasant, but I don't think that was the reason for, me calling it or anything. Would it have been easier for me to stay injured and go 134, 61 kilos? I think so. So it is tough being at those in-between weights, but ultimately, the weight cut was not the reason, but it did contribute it. Obviously, as you get down further and further,
body shuts down.
When weighing 140 and I'm used to losing, 7 pounds to wrestle, now I got to lose 15. It definitely did wear on, And I was waking up, pounds away from what I was wrestling at. So, yeah, it was tough, but yeah.
Yeah. No, and you got to ultimately, you're looking to have a long-term international career, be multiple-time world Olympic champ. So obviously you got to look at the, it's maybe short-term pain, long-term gain, right? Which I think everyone could understand. So now what do you feel like the future looks like for you in terms of, I guess, weight? I guess, would you still want to make, like, okay, the next couple of years, 61 seems like, is that where you want to continue to go? And then is the plan then, it's so far away, the next Olympics, but do you think go down or go up?
In the next couple of years, I believe that, 61 is a good weight for me. I think where my weight is and kind of where I compete at optimally, I think 61 is a good place for me. So, for the foreseeable future, I think I'll probably stay there. To talk about, the next Olympic cycle, yeah, it's 4 years away. I have no idea. am I going to try again? Am I healthy? Am I finally graduated from college and can actually just do this full time? Because that'll probably make things easier. Because I got to lose weight and go to class. Like it was not easy. But next cycle, is it easier for me to go down 57, or am I going to prepare to lift and get a little bigger and go 65? That's something that I can't tell right now. But we will find out in 4 years. So
Right. And then, yeah, and that was also something, it seems like that was a big thing for you also wanting to wrestle this year, eventually, being done with school, right? I mean, at a certain point, you want to just be done with school. I mean, a lot of, people don't think that. It's like, well, you redshirt. It's like, well, that means more class. You got to do this again. You got to do something, whether it be a master's degree or, right? So it's a lot. You're ready to do your international career is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm turning 25 this year, so I'm pretty ready to enter, my senior level career. Obviously, it started a while ago, but like actually just wake up and be like, all right, I have to wrestle today. Those are, looking back on previous years, that those are some of my favorite times of my life. Obviously it was not the greatest in the grand scheme of things, but COVID, I was just waking up and wrestling, and that was my whole day, and that was great. Like I got better wrestling. I had fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to, that was like a little sneak peek of what it was like to be graduated. So, I'm looking forward to that. I'm obviously very thankful for Cornell for, having me for this many years, but, I am definitely looking forward to graduating and putting my full effort towards wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. And now so I guess then thinking about this week coming up, are you still going to go to the trials? You're going to watch, you're going to get Yianni ready? Is it take the week off because it's hard to be there and be part of that? What are your thoughts? Where are you going to be?
No, I will be at trials. Yeah, I'm coming to support Yianni and Gwiz and, everyone else. As far as training partner, probably not. I just announced that I'm not wrestling at trials, so I'm if I had sacrificed all this already, I might as well take the time off.
Right, of course.
So I am I'm probably not going to wrestle for a while, but I think that's what my body needs. But I will be there to support my teammates and just watch some good wrestling happen. So yeah.
What are your, and again, okay, now normally we wouldn't be thinking about this because if you're competing, but as a spectator or looking back now, knowing that you're not competing, what was going to be your expectation for, like, who do you think you would have ended up wrestling? Obviously, we know anything could have happened. How did you see the bracket panning out, and who did you feel like you'd be going up against?
I had the inclination that, I'm only going to wrestle two people because I was just sitting in the semis. So I thought it was going to be Gilman and Spencer. And most likely I would have had, probably Gilman and Spencer, or maybe, who else? Maybe Soriano. Probably some combination of those three. I never saw what the seeds looked like. So I'm unsure, but
Can I share
those are the people.
I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could share my screen. I would share the screen if I had it. I don't know how to.
Yeah, you have the seeds? Are they out?
Yeah. So it was Richard sitting up top, right? I wish I could send this over. I wish I could share the screen. Darn it. I don't know what the problem is here, but all right. So yeah, Zane was sitting atop, and then it would have been for the 4-5 was Suriano and Spencer, right? And then Dayton and Nico were 3 and 6. Gilman was at the bottom, so likely to have been Gilman and Dayton, right? And then the winner of those guys would have had you, and then the winner of Suriano and Spencer would have had Zane Richards.
Yeah. So I think I think it probably would have been Gilman and Spencer.
Yeah. And how do you see, like, obviously you've wrestled them before, but now it's a different story. It's been a while. How have you seen those matches going?
Yeah, that was part of it. Was the last time I had wrestled either of them was a long time ago. Spencer I wrestled in 2019, and now it's 2024. So,
Right.
and Gilman, I wrestled 21. I believe 21 was the last time we wrestled.
Was it for the Olympic trials? Was that the last one?
Maybe 2022. Yeah, it was 2022. Was the last time I wrestled Gilman. At Final X the year after the Olympic trials. And yeah, those matches did not go the way I wanted, but also that was pre, everything, everything that has given me success to today. My success is, somewhat recent. I think I've developed greatly in these past 2 years. So I was excited to go down and put it on display, but that will be a match for another time, apparently.
Right. We're certainly not calling anyone out or talking any trash or anything. We're throwing it around. I'm just looking back. We wish all the guys the best, and obviously all studs in an absolutely loaded weight, which is nice thing being in the semis, but still that doesn't, you're still having battles, always battles. Who do you think would have been the toughest match? Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's crazy to think also at 57, right? You have me, you have Gilman, you have Spencer, Soriano, Zane. These are all fixed. Yeah. These are all people who are very capable of medaling at the Olympics, which is great, So ultimately I know kind of, we're in good hands. Obviously I would have liked to be the one to represent us, but I'm pretty confident in their ability as well.
Was there one of them that you really wanted to wrestle? I mean, obviously, I know you don't care, and like whoever it was, and it's not like anything personal. But was there one person you were like, "Hey, I want this match again. I want this guy again"?
Well, yeah, I wanted to wrestle Gilman. I've never beat him. I've never beat Spencer either, but Gilman has given me some tough losses, so I definitely wanted to wrestle him again. But I bet I hope I'll get my chance to have a rematch. But he was a strong competitor. He was, kind of the gate that stopped me from going out to the World Championships on multiple occasions. And it kind of set a standard for the fresh senior level Vito. This is what real guys who are tough on the senior level look like. So I aspire to beat those people, and I want to kind of come back and show him what I've learned, so to say. But yeah, all the best to all of them.
Oh yeah. No, it's like you said, it really could be anyone's tournament. If you had to pick, who do you think would be in the finals? Would you take Soriano or Spencer Lee against, and then the winner would get Richards? Who do you think would likely come out at the top in your mind?
It's tough to say because I think they have certain level of style matchups as well. Because we've seen like Soriano is capable of beating Spencer. We've seen that Fix is capable of beating Gilman, right? But at the same time, right, I don't think we've seen Spencer and Gilman wrestle. And then we see Zane has beaten Gilman, right? But then Gilman, I feel like, is also just like one of the toughest competitors there. So it really is just kind of, I have no idea.
Now, if you had to pick, who's probably going to be in the finals and who's coming out on top? If you had to.
Yeah, I'd probably pick, Spencer and Gilman, and if I had to pick a winner, I don't know. I'd love to watch it. I don't know who's gonna win.
No, if you were a betting man, if they said you have to bet, who would you put your money on?
I put my money on. I'll go Gilman just because he's beaten me so many times.
No, it's gonna be exciting to watch. And then what are your thoughts for some of the other weights? I mean, what do you think with Yianni's chances, of course, like he's got another stacked weight. They all have stacked weights, and we know that Yianni is more than capable of coming out on top. How do you see that going for him just overall?
I'm very confident in Yanni's ability. I'm watching him. Been training with him for the past couple of weeks. He feels really good. So his the descent's coming well. His game planning and sharpening up the techniques is coming along very nicely. So I'm super excited to see how he does as well. I pretty confident, but we'll see.
Who do you think he's likely to be in the finals with? I mean, I wish I had these brackets up. I'm looking for it. I don't know. I'd guess. I mean, he's gonna have a loaded weight too. I mean, who do you think he ends up going against?
I could definitely see a rematch with Nick Lee. I think that is a very likely outcome. I off the top of my head, without looking at the bracket, I'm not necessarily sure, but I think probably, like a Nick Lee probably come out.
Right. Now, what about the other weights? What are your thoughts there? I know there's a lot of good guys and teammates and stuff, but I mean, there's gonna be some battles.
Oh, of course, yeah. I don't want to touch 74 at all. That's I have no idea, none. It's really the whole tournament can go to each weight class can go to at least 3 people, right? And it's like no idea. But it's gonna be exciting and fun to watch. So that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. And it seems, and some of the guys, obviously, they've been doing it for a long time. I think we'll probably see some shoes left on the mat. That's another thing you think about.
Probably will. Definitely feel like it's kind of nearing a little change in the guard, so to say. But who knows? We'll see what they think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Is there any other matches you're looking forward to? I guess now watching. I guess you probably not looking at it from the perspective of a spectator, but is there any matchups that you're really looking forward to seeing?
Yeah, there's definitely. I think we talked about a bunch of them. A hypothetical Spencer Gillen match I'd like to see. A Yianni Lee rematch I'd love to see. Between Kyle, DT, and Jordan, and anything would be really cool to watch. I'm excited to see how Gwiz does as well. Nick Gwizdowski, I'm excited to watch him compete as well. It's gonna be a fun weekend of wrestling.
Oh yeah. And then your plans for, I know you're recovering now, but what is I get, what do you think it looks like for you coming up and getting back in the matter? We're just gonna play it by ear and see what happens.
Yeah, I've kind of I haven't really given it much thought. I've kind of taken this time to just kind of, process what's going on, and it is a lot. So, but after trials, I'll sit down with my coaches and put together a plan, because their priority should be focused on helping Yianni and Gwiz, and I'm going to try to help out any way I can as well. So I'm doing my recovery. I'm walking around at practice, helping out with some of the college guys, sharpening up some technique. Ultimately, just trying to feel good right now.
Absolutely. Well, definitely rest, recover, and enjoy. I'm quite certain you've earned it, and I'm sure I'm with the whole wrestling community saying, obviously, we're disappointed that you're not going to be out there to watch you, but we know that ultimately it's about the future. It's the long term. We know you're a guy who's one of our best chances to win an Olympic gold. We all like you. We all wish you the best. So keep up the great work. And I think it's the right move. You got to take care of yourself. That's the right thing there. So thanks a lot, Vito. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Gene. Thank you.
All right.